There are the releases you hope are good. There's the figures you expect to be good. But then there's the figures you just don't know. They have the element of mystery. Or maybe you just had low expectations and they proceeded to blow your mind once you got them out of the box. Or maybe they just had no right to be good for whatever reason in your mind, but still managed to lift that middle finger of defiance and provide you with some unexpected fun. Let's count down the top 10 recent-ish figures that I was surprised by how good they were. Wheelie has an interesting history in the fandom. For the most part, his appearances in media boil down to an annoyance and an insult. But he's had some moments over the years, and personally, I've started to think a little better of him. I picked up the Studio Series 86 Core Class Wheelie on a whim, and actually ended up really liking the figure. He's fun to transform, looks accurate in both modes, and despite the visible hand syndrome in alt mode, and an unfortunate weapon storage spot, he's a pretty cool figure, honestly. I loved the original Beast Wars Snarl. No particular reason why other than he was just fun and an interesting figure. So to see the design return all these years later in his Beast Wars second iteration of Tasmanian Kid, well, that alone made me happy. This is a nice core class figure with very few compromises. My only critique really is the weapon is pretty lame. Other than that, he's a fun figure to mess with. I'm not a huge fan of the Pretenders as a concept, but I'm always on board with seeing Pretender characters get recognition, especially when the figure is as fun as core class Iguanus. The fusion of the inner robot and the Pretender shell to make a fun, compact design like this is, in my opinion, the way to go with Pretenders. I didn't really have high expectations for Iguanus, so that just fueled my joy when he turned into one of my favorite core classes that I still enjoy picking up and transforming even a few years later. I never covered this Sunstreaker figure on the channel. I'm not really sure why. Sunstreaker is one of those characters that I really wish Hasbro would do more with. We see Sideswipe a lot, but Sunstreaker always seems to get bumped. This Bumblebee movie concept Sunstreaker is actually a pretty cool design for him. The head sculpt nails the look pretty well. I adore the details on this figure, like the orange highlights and the sneaker feet. The weapon is a little lame, but it's still pretty fun. His transformation is enjoyable, and while I'm not usually a fan of Cybertronian modes, this one evokes the feel of a sports car that an egotistical Autobot like Sunstreaker would certainly adopt. This is the best Arcee in my opinion. I love this design. The head sculpt is probably the weakest part, but it's still a great look overall. While watching the Bumblebee movie, I didn't think they'd be able to do the design justice, but this toy, honestly, nails it. The transformation is fun, and I absolutely love this Cybertronian motorcycle mode. The only complaint would be the hands sticking out the back, while holding her little pistols to hide them. It's a lame solution to an otherwise fantastic-looking vehicle mode.
Hello! It has been brought to my attention that it is not appropriate to threaten you sweaty, disgusting flesh bags into supporting the channel. Scourge, you can't insult them either. Well, what am I supposed to do then? Just ask them nicely for their support. It's not hard. Ugh, fine. Hello, humans. If you like this content, please support it. And I promise to not destroy you. Scourge!
Yeah, fine. I'll give credit to a Bumblebee. To be honest, in real life, I don't hate Bumblebee, and I appreciate him more nowadays because he's not the only character Hasbro puts on pegs along with Optimus, although there are still quite a few of him. And this Studio Series 86 Bumblebee is actually a dead ringer to how I wanted him to be when I was a kid. He just nails the look of that friendly kid appeal character that won the hearts of millions of children back in 1984. I don't need my Bumblebee to be some hulking warrior or a future leader. I need him to be the grounded heart and soul of the Autobots. That helps them see the value of humanity, even if we as a species don't always demonstrate it that well at times. That got a little preachy. Anyway, he's also super fun to transform. Quake is one of those, I'm buying this because I like when Hasbro puts out less popular characters, and I want to support this behavior so the shelves aren't constantly clogged with Optimus, Megatron, and Bumblebee purchases. And I'm happy that I did, because he's a surprisingly great figure. His robot mode especially is just the poster board of generic robot perfection that I personally dig. Being a partial off of Skullgrin and G2 Trooper, I really didn't expect to like Quake. But this is another shining example of the ingenuity of the current Transformers design teams. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever expect an Alicon to be made, let alone be just a banger of a figure. This is the kind of Transformer I like. Fun to mess with, easy to convert, and representing something we don't see that often, if at all. The Earthrise Alicon, and all its repaints, are just fun toys, with beautiful sculpted details, and fun weapons. Time and again, I find myself picking these guys up and messing with them, because they really are fun. The Alicon is not a character I thought would ever warrant such a neat figure. And to be fair, it's not perfect. Like, I wish the robot hands folded up when in beast mode. But it's just so fun to play with. And this is one of those rare occasions where I actually don't mind having multiples of the same mold. Throw this guy with a few new paint apps in future multi-packs, because he's a way better figure than some of the stuff they toss in those now. Look, before you at me on this choice, you gotta see my point of view. I went into the Age of the Primes toy line with little to no interest in this figure. I still think his paint scheme is boring, though somebody made the argument to me that as the first Transformer, he's the prototype, so it makes sense that his colors are like primer, and while that's clever, narratively speaking, he's still very boring in all gray. But I do like this figure. Prima's sculpted knight-like details are fantastic, and even though his alt mode is a generic Cybertronian van, the journey of transforming him is just plain fun. I went from zero interest in most of the 13 to now I'm probably going to get all or most of them. And that's largely thanks to this guy being so fun to mess around with. I'm sure you're all sick of me praising Gears at this point, but I really can't help it. Like Prima, I really don't care about Gears as a character, which is why I was so shocked about how much I love this figure. The colors, the details, the posability. He just nails everything. And that transformation is just absolute money. I love converting Gears back and forth. He is possibly my favorite modern figure to animate at this point. Maybe that's why I keep sticking him on these lists. He's also a truck. We need more pickup truck alt modes. Get on that, Hasbro. And there you have my top 10 surprisingly good figures. We went a little negative a few lists back, so I thought we'd swing things back around with some positivity. So, who's a figure you picked up that you didn't expect much from? Let me know in the comments below. I'm hoping, after the Omega Prime stuff, to get back to a more normal release schedule, and maybe get some other stuff off the ground I've been toying with. But as usual, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, don't forget to subscribe, and above all else, try to stay happy.